Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today I thought I could show you my sketchbook session that was about 2 hours or something, but I compiled it in 15 minutes, which is more acceptable to watch. And I'm gonna also talk about references. Should you use references to get creative? In this video and for this session, I've decided to use only watercolor pencils and also some brushes, just 2 brushes that you'll see later. I will put you all the information about what I'm using in the description box. I wanted to create pomegranate, so I've googled pomegranate on Google and on the internet to see some pictures because I've already told you, but I can't really use my memory, like my visual memory, to paint and draw. It's not very specific and precise, so I personally need references, especially when I want to create, draw, or paint something realistic. And also, if I want to paint or draw something I've never paint or draw before, because I don't have the experience, like I can't use my experience to know what to do. So that's also what I've decided to start first by drawing the grains, the interior of the fruits, first in black and white just to understand the shape, and then in red because I'm going to use red to understand how I'm going to place the color and also the shadows. Then I've decided to also try to work on the global shape, do a little sketch or miniature sketch, just to see how I'm gonna plan and do with the real one. So this is also a quick sketch just to really understand what I'm gonna do. Usually when I'm doing that, I talk in my head, uh, just to try to remember what I'm doing and also what works and what doesn't work. So yeah, I'm just telling myself something I need to do and things I should avoid to do. At the same time, I'm watching my reference and see if what I'm doing match the reference and if what I'm doing is what I want to get also, because I don't necessarily want to get exactly the same thing that you can see on the reference. I want to get something that I like. So I'm also improvising sometimes. And for example, here when I'm adding the shadows, I'm doing it my way in a way. So I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm trying and I see if it looks nice or not. And for example, I've decided to use more shadow on the left of the pomegranate, and I thought it looks better on the right side, so that's what I will do next. So yeah, it just helped me to understand what I like and what I don't like. When I see it, it's really easier for me, and I can plan for the bigger picture and I can adjust what I like and what I don't like for the bigger picture. So yeah, that's how I do. And especially when I never tried to draw or paint something before, it's a little bit different when it's something I know how to draw and know how to paint. I will talk about that in other videos. For example, I love painting skies, so I know how I like the skies to be and how I like to paint them. So I don't need to use references, especially when I will talk about gouache, because I love painting them in gouache. I'm not very good at it in watercolor, but yeah, I'll talk about that later. Here, my reference is very important to me because I don't know what I liked and what I want to create, and I can't really visualize it in advance. I need to see it on the paper. So, as I said, the first sketches really helped me to understand that. I can't really go too far away from my reference because I don't really know where to go actually. So usually I'm pretty close to my reference when I'm learning how to draw or how to paint something. That's the case for pomegranate. So I'm drawing it as I'm pretty much seeing it. And if I want to do something different, I use the sketches I've done before just to see if that looks good or not and to see if that's what I want or not. So I'm not very creative here because I'm learning. So I think references are very useful when you're learning and want to learn something, and also if you want to be very, very realistic. It's different if you have a very good memory, maybe a photographic memory, in that you can use it to paint or to draw. You don't really need references. You may like to have references, but you don't necessarily need them, which is not the case for me, but that can be your case maybe. But if you're only reproducing a memory, a picture you have in your head, that's not also very creative because you're just reproducing something, you're not inventing something, you're not experimenting. So I think it's easier to be very creative when you're not doing something realistic. Of course, you can be creative in the way you're doing it. Like, for example, if you have never used watercolor pencils before, that you used to use watercolor, you will try and experiment new things. So that will be creative in a way. Even if you're reproducing something you have already reproduced before, because you're trying something different, you're out of your comfort zone. That's where you're very creative. And also, if you're changing your reference. For example, the most creative part for me was when I drew the little grains you just see in the pomegranate. I didn't copy the grain I've seen on the picture, but I tried to place them next to each other in a nice way and something that looks good and realistic, but also something I thought could be interesting. So the more you're improvising, the more you are creative. You can also, for example, change the colors of your reference. So you're doing something new and you're not copying your reference in terms of color, but using your reference for the shapes, for example. So that's also something I like to do because I feel like I can use the color I want to use, so I'm more free. And at the end, it's a whole new experience to see. I think drawing and painting, it's also about emotions. So you usually want the people seeing your creation to feel something, and you usually feel something too when you're creating. So it's about transmitting emotions, and usually the colors help to do that, the shapes you're doing, and also the way you're doing it. So the best way to do that is to feel free to use what you want to use and feel free to do what you want to do. Here at the end, when I started to paint and add water on the watercolor pencils, I was almost drawing when I was seeing the picture comes to life. I wanted this pomegranate to make you want to eat it. And I actually want to eat pomegranate so badly at the moment. So let me know if that worked. Just to go back on what I'm doing. So as you can see here, I'm adding shadows with the pencil. So I'm trying to add enough color because when I'm gonna add water, you see that the pencil will transform into paint. And I'm trying first on the sketches just to really see how it's doing and how I'm gonna use it next. When it transforms into paint, it's really like watercolor, but the advantage we have here is that we already have placed the shadows and the white. You will help the crayon to diffuse and you have something more homogeneous. So it's really easy to use watercolor that way. You can also, if you want, add more watercolor. When I want to add more color, I just use the color of my pencil, so I can still use the exact same colors. You just have to put a little bit of water on your pencil and you'll get some paint. So really easy, really simple. You can see that the color diffuse really nicely and you can also control it pretty well. So I really like using color pencil. It was nice to use watercolor pencil again. Let me know if you have ever used watercolor pencil, what you think about them, and how you use them. Also, let me know what you think about references. How do you use references? Is it easier for you when you use references? Do you use your memory? Do you use both? Or do you try to imagine images in your head that you then create? Or do you do like me, like just creating first on the paper or a sketch and then create something a little bit more complex, or try to understand how it works and then try to really do it again your own way? Let me know. I would be really curious to know how you do. I used two brushes for this painting. I only use two brushes for this painting. I really like this one. So they are the Raphael Symbiose brushes that are great for watercolor but also for gouache and even acrylics actually. I really love this type of brushes and this brand. The watercolor pencils are from Faber Castell and they are also very good. As you can see, they are very intense. The pigments are great. You can easily work with the pigments next. So yeah, really great. I would highly recommend them. If you haven't used watercolor pencils before, let me know what you use, what brands you use, what brushes you use. I would love to know. I'm gonna add more paint and also define the shapes a little bit more. I'm just trying to really place the shadows and the colors right so that the pomegranates look pretty real, I would say. Let me know what you think in the comments. I feel like it was nice. I also added a little bit more pencils, like to just to really get a pencil effect too. Have both, like a little bit of painting and crayons, two type of effects. I feel like the painting helped to have something very diffuse and the crayon, the pencils, help to have more defined parts. I also wanted to have a little background around the pomegranates, something really simple, really easy, and add pomegranate underneath. I love adding little splashes of colors and little dots, so I've also done that. And that's it. That's the final result. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you also think about references. And I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And have a nice day. Bye.